This is a podcast from Rover.
Welcome to Parents We've Met, where we chat about the magic and mess of parenting. Joining us today, we have Scott Parry from the TV show Fishing and Adventure. We'll be talking about the show, which has been around for over a decade, helping your kids fall in love with the outdoors and embracing the journey of fatherhood. Now, warning, this might get a little fishy. Hey, well, welcome, Scott. Thanks for saying yes and coming and hanging out on the couch with us today.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're going to do things a little bit different today. I heard this is probably your first podcast. You might be a little bit of, fish out of water. Nice. So I thought I'd do a bit of a, there's going to be a few of those today, a quick fire round, all right?
Okay, I'll try not to flounder around too much.
Good. My people. All right. Favourite fish to catch?
Kingfish.
Double uni knot versus FG knot?
Oh, uni knot.
Circle hook versus J hook?
Circumstantial, but yeah, I'll go with circle hook.
If you could only choose one for the rest of your life, would you stray line, soft bait, or stick bait?
Oh, but I'll have to go with my kingy, so stick baiting.
Favourite fish to eat and how do you prepare it?
It probably would be kingfish again, just feeding just because it's so versatile. So, but there's sashimi, there's pan fried, the rest of it, but just love it pan fried, just lightly dusted in flour, salt and pepper, only just cooked through. Yeah, perfect.
All right, we're coming to try that at yours.
Okay, cool.
The big fish that got away.
Oh, for me, it's a swordfish. I've been on the rod 4 or 5 times trying to land a swordfish and haven't been able to land it yet. So, yeah, that's got away from me, and more than enough times. So there's a redemption trip that we're going on probably in a couple of weeks where hopefully I can, get
I won't keep you up at night, dreaming anymore.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you were a fish, what would you be?
I think I'd definitely have to be a predator. Maybe like a Mako shark or a great white shark. Yeah, I don't know. I just think because they're so awesome. Yeah, and just get to, not because they terrorise other things and they're a bit scary, just because they're cool,
If Mig, your sidekick, was a fish, what would he be?
I could go anywhere with this. I'd say what's a good solid. He'd be like a blue cod or just something solid and reliable. He's gonna do the job. You know what you're gonna get out of him, and that's what I think Mig is. Yeah, a blue
I like
cod.
it.
Yeah,
there we go. Actually, I was looking on your Instagram and looking at photos of fishing and family, and I've seen a lot of really proud photos of their dads holding their kids, but I don't think I've ever seen a happier or prouder photo than of you holding a fish. It was just like you. It definitely looks like it's like your happy place.
Oh, absolutely. And I think because obviously the natural excitement of catching a big fish, it's there with fishing regardless. And then obviously there's the excitement of nailing that really good fish for the TV show, for the content. And then, so it's like a double whammy of just excitement. So it's genuine. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
It's good stuff. We would love to know a little bit about your whānau. So
sure.
Could you just share who's in the family?
Yeah, so my immediate family is just myself, my partner Lizzie, and then my daughter Billy, who's 2.5. But I come from a big family, big whānau of especially on my mum's side. We're super close cousins, uncles, aunties. We share a batch at Coromandel, and we all still go there, multi-generations, and it's still awesome like that. Like everyone's still very much connected, and so that's instilled some real good values in me. And so family is a big part of life for me. And then dad's side of the family is also quite close, quite big, but a bit more spread out. I think he's 11 brothers and sisters. So, one of those sort of Catholic families. And then his oldest brother had 10 kids. So, heaps of cousins and heaps of family on that side too. So, and we all still connect. We have family reunions on that side of the family. So, big family and lots of love and a lot of fun.
Great. And it's expanding, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, so, I've got twin girls on the way, which is going to be exciting. It's going to obviously, I guess, take a bit more time away from what I'm doing currently, but I'm all about it because I think, like I said before, family is such a big part of life, and just excited for the next chapter.
I love the announcement of your daughter, such a fisherman, caught this absolute stunner on Saturday. She tipped the scales at 7.8 pounds. I can safely say this one ain't going back. Welcome to the world, my girl. #parenting and adventure. I can't wait to hear how you announce the arrival of twins.
I haven't even really thought about that one yet. I haven't made that properly public yet. So, I guess I better do it soon because, it's going to come around pretty quickly. And, from what we've been told, twins normally come earlier than the due date. So my partner Lizzie's pretty planned and pretty prepared. So everything's already almost sorted. So just try and get my other stuff sorted out, figure out, the filming and the rest of that so we can get that all out of the way. And then, got a little bit of a time to spend for that pretty precious time, which is that birth of the kids. Yeah.
But your hashtag is parenting and adventure.
Yeah.
Has fatherhood so far been the adventure you thought it was going to be?
Oh, absolutely. I was always sort of wanted to be a parent. And definitely for me, it's exceeded expectations. I was quite aware from early on that it's going to be a little bit of work, and everyone sort of says it's going to be, and, they're not wrong. But I think if you're willing to accept that and you lean into it rather than try and sort of, run away from it, it's super rewarding and, and like massive, massive adventure. You learn so much and, I wouldn't change it for anything. Yeah, love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You got to lean into it, rather than have the brakes on.
Yeah.
What has surprised you about being a dad?
I guess, like I said before, with the time thing, I knew you would have to put time and energy in, but there's actually a lot less time for yourself than what you may have had before. I'm in my 40s now, so had my daughter quite late, so I've had a lot of time to spend for myself and with whatever it is I'm doing, and with work taking a lot of my time away. I was just quite used to that. So yes, having to sort of commit to being the parent, and I wanted to be there, I wanted to be available, I didn't want to be the parent that's sort of never around. So that just means making sacrifices, but like I said before, it was a surprise, but one that I was ready for, and just had to, step it up another level to what I thought. Which, it's been cool though, you learn so much, from your kids and being around them, and I think you just look at life differently, different perspective. From where it was before, completely different, which is exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really ready for it.
Yeah.
Have you been able to take any of the lessons that you've learned from fishing and kind of apply them to parenting? Is there any link there?
Yeah, probably the patience thing. You definitely, I don't think it matters how good your kid might be or how good you think they might be. I think you have to learn patience, and part of fishing, and especially doing it for a job, you have to learn patience around that. And and that's something that you can apply, and something I probably didn't have growing up. I wasn't a very patient person, sort of all over the place, very sort of energetic and very want something to happen and you want it to happen now. But I guess being slightly older, and also, like I say, having the job revolving around fishing, that meant that, that patience has had to be there. And obviously with parenthood, patience is a big one.
Absolutely.
Is there a lesson you're learning right now around patience?
Yeah. See, my daughter's 2.5, so she's at that age, as you guys probably know. A lot of people probably know that they test your patience quite a lot. But I think I've figured out ways. I mean, there's never no one's ever perfect, but just figure out little ways of kind of just deflecting really, and just sort of shifting the focus from something that she might be sort of really, about to have a tantrum, and you just sort of just guide her somewhere else and just sort of make it a little bit more fun and enjoyable. Great. Something else, and that works quite well at the moment. But
it's good.
It worked a lot better a few weeks ago. Now I have to try and find another tactic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where did your love for adventure and nature first begin, Scott? Did you grow up in a really outdoorsy family?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, grew up in Raglan, by the sea, right on the harbour there, and with our family batch in Coromandel. If I wasn't, down at the beach myself at home, we're at the beach at Coromandel with the rest of the extended family. And then alongside that, Mum would always take us on, I used to hate it, but, bush walks and that sort of stuff. And as a kid, I was like, I just wanted to be either playing with my friends or doing something else. But, Mum would make us do these bush walks. But thinking back, they're actually really, really good. You just had to learn a bit about nature. Don't ask me any questions about the names of the trees and stuff. Like my brother, he took in all that information. Like I said, I was a little bit trying not to be there. But looking back now, I really appreciated that. And Dad would take us fishing and we'd get out on the water. And it was always about, connecting with nature, learning about trees, animals, the rest of it. And that was cool. We didn't travel overseas. We never had money to do that. So it was always what you could, the sort of adventures you could have in your backyard. And we're pretty lucky here in New Zealand that we've got obviously a lot of stuff you can do in nature. It's cool. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I learnt to snorkel before I could swim.
Nice.
And I was reading in your bio and it said that you could fish before you could walk.
Pretty much,
Is that true?
Well, I caught my first fish when I was about, probably just starting learning to walk. Mum and Dad took me to the Coromandel jetty. I'm assuming it was on a hand line. I just got a photo of me holding up this little sprat, big smile on my face, happy as, probably just walking. So I guess that's where it started. And then, never looked back really. But I haven't been able to get my daughter to take the patience of starting to fish yet. Took her down to the Raglan Wharf, tried to get her to go. She's lasted about 30 seconds and then gone, off to try and do something else. But that's just the way she is at the moment. But not going to force anything. Just let her, I guess, accept it when she's ready. And she's quite keen to go out on the boat and do some fishing. So, we'll probably get that done at some stage once we get through this manic filming schedule that we've got going on currently. Yeah.
my dad's not around anymore, but I've got amazing memories of Dad taking me fishing. So it was one of those things that we did together. And Dad was really patient and calm, not in every other aspect, but he seemed to have this ability to be out there for hours. And I mean, there's always food and other things to make it lovely. And there was a stage where I was probably about 10 and I felt there was some sort of injustice about the fish dying. And so for a while there, I was throwing the fish back while he wasn't looking. And I still don't remember him getting really cross with me. So it's quite a tender, loving memory that he didn't lose it, that I was actually chucking them back.
Yeah, it's cool.
Have you got some favourite activities that you're doing with Billy at the moment? Something that the two of you do together?
Yeah, we play a lot of hide and seek together. It's a funny one because she gets me to hide with her, but there's no one looking for us. So it's kind of like, who are we hiding from? Hiding from Mum. Mum's not playing. So it's like, you just hide for a bit and then you pretend that your mum's looking and then you go off and do something else. But no, that's something that like she's into that at the moment. Play a lot of Duplo. That's something that she likes to do that with her a bit. And then on the trampoline, her and I give quite a lot of fun on the old trampoline. Lots of different things, and she's obviously, as most kids are, loves that sort of fun and sort of high energy stuff, and I can hope I try and match her and try and bring that as much as I can, because that's sort of growing up, that's what I love to do as well. And so there's lots of little things we do. Haven't had a chance to do much of the actual fishing or anything like that with her yet, which I'm hoping to try and do soon. But yeah, that's those little moments, those little things you just do at home, which you can do at any stage.
I love playing hide and seek with my kids even now, because when I'm feeling like I've got heaps to do, they'll hide and I'll be looking for them, but I'll be like taking stuff from one room, put it, so I'm actually having a tidy up. Oh, you're not here. And it lasts for ages. And I'm like getting to do some stuff, but also playing. So I think hide and seek's wonderful.
Perfect. As long as they're good hiders, you keep going.
They're like, we're so good, but really Mum's slightly distracted, but I'm coming. Now, your fishing and adventure show has been going for over a decade. I think there's many parents, especially dads around the country, that probably think you are living the dream that watch the show. How did it all begin?
It just started from I guess that passion for fishing that we had, and with my younger cousin Mig, who I present the show with. The two of us, he was working for me at the time. We were doing Sky TV installs. That was sort of the job we had. I had a business doing that, and he was working for me. And we'd just go around doing that, and we'd always just try and go fishing. We're like, how do we, do less work, do more fishing? So to the point where we'd actually be doing our, next day's jobs the night before, putting someone's satellite dish up in the dark, so we could get that done that night, so we could have the next day off, so we could go fishing. And then we'd get our jobs scheduled so we could work out in Raglan, so we could take the boat with us, because we were living in Hamilton, take the boat with us. Driving up these long driveways with the boat on the back, can't really turn it around properly, but then install their dish and then try and figure out back in the boat, back out. So that was us, like really into the fishing and trying to make something out of it. And we're like, oh, why don't we try and make something out of this? Make a TV show, like I'm sure many people have done in the past. But there was a bit of a gap in the market then. I sort of thought we had a bit of sort of this natural dynamic, which we do have as being cousins and working together, which was quite fun. Sort of somehow bring that to the screen. And then just sort of figured it out, trial and error. It didn't come from a background of TV production or any of the sponsorship stuff or the corporate stuff is what you need. It was just more of a sort of, I guess, commitment to try and make it happen. And long story short, we're able to sort of get past all the no's and you will not do this and you won't happen kind of thing that you get from a lot of people when you're trying to start something up. New Zealand's obviously the tall poppy syndrome is strong in this country. Wish it wasn't, but it is. But you just got to get through that. And managed to sort of eventually get a break onto Prime TV with our first season back in 2013. And sort of been doing a season of Fishing Adventure since. So up to season 12 now. So it's
Cool. Yeah. You've been fishing for a long time. Have you seen much of a change, in the ocean with overfishing, maybe climate stuff that's going on? Yeah,
there's definitely the water temperatures, different times of the year sort of changing now. The summers, the water temps are staying warmer longer, which is actually quite good for fishing, but it's, you wonder about the effects that may have in other areas, which is not ideal. Fishing itself has it hasn't actually deteriorated as bad as probably what maybe you might have thought it has. The Hauraki Gulf, for example, there's quite a lot of fish there. There are some issues there. I'm not saying there's not, but there are still plenty of fish around. Especially back from when I was a kid, like in the 80s, when we get to Coromandel, trying to get a feed of snapper was actually quite hard, just because the trawlers had been through and it was actually quite hard to get a fish. But now the Hauraki Gulf is definitely alive and well. There's plenty of fish there. But there's still a lot of work to be done if we had to keep that there for future generations, which is something that's obviously we should all be mindful of. And whether that be commercial fishing, recreational fishing, or everyone just working together trying to sustain it, I think is very important. But there's a long way to go before it's perfect.
Jenny and I are nervous to know this, but is there any fish we should be staying away from for a while that maybe we're...
Yeah, well, there's a good website which shows you the like how endangered certain species are based on obviously population numbers and things like that. So mostly the things like your snapper and your kingfish now aren't too bad. But yeah, there are some species out there which people target, especially for some overseas markets, which can be in decline. Yeah, like I say, there's pros and cons each way. Like there's some good things around catch and release, which is cool. But yeah, there's also important to take a feed. I think that's kind of message that we try and promote as much as possible, is that if you're going out there to go fishing and it's, that's something you want to do and you're providing food for your whale, then that's cool. That's your right to do that. And, as long as you're doing it within the limits, then that's what the Quota System Z obviously manage. So, do that and don't feel bad about doing that if that's what you're doing it for. I think there's a lot of people that shame people for taking fish. But that might be the only time they get to go fishing that month or whatever. So I think it's important to treat everything on a case by case basis and just make sure if you are going to be taking fish from the ocean that you're utilising it as much as you can and as much as possible. And then those messages are good to pass on to the kids as well. It's not always about letting fish go, although that is good. If that's an opportunity to let that fish go and it can swim away and it can be healthy. But then, equally, take that fish for food, because at the end of the day, that's our kai moana. That's what you want to go out there for, first and foremost, and use that resource as long as you're doing it within the laws.
Yeah.
On your show, there's a real respect for fish and for the ocean. Do you have any rituals or traditions around actually killing the fish? Yep,
definitely. If you're going to take a fish, kill it immediately, like as soon as you can. I think that's just out of respect for the fish, but also just it prolongs the quality of the fish as well. Like rather than back when we were young, like in the 80s, you take a fish. There was no sort of knowledge around that. You just throw it in the bin or in an old sack, and and it just dies slowly. And it's not obviously. The best thing to do is iki. It's called, the Japanese word is iki. You iki the fish, so just stab it in the head or whatever you need to do quickly and as humanely as possible, and then put it onto ice. So it just basically just ensures that quality of that fish is going to be a lot better when you go to eat it, which is, like I said before, which is what you're primarily there to do. So if you're going to take the fish, then respect it as much as you can.
Cool. Yeah. See, I wouldn't have thrown back those fish of Dad's if he'd killed them straight away. But it was watching them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's fish out of water is like us in the water, it's the same thing effectively. So you know how that goes.
I got my 6-year-old and 4-year-old fishing rods for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Something they've been wanting to do. And I was talking to the guy at the shop and he's like, I'll get is it sabiki?
Yeah, sabiki.
He's like, kids, they're patients, get these, they'll get a bit of action straight away. And it was totally right. So we went to Whirianga and we got a little bit of action on the wharf there. We went to Hohora and it was real fun.
Awesome.
And he actually got quite a few fish, my boy, like straight away, which now I think he thinks he's going to go out and get fish every time. But is there any like tips with kids? I mean, is that the best way to do like something like that? So they get a bit of action straight away and it's fun?
I definitely think so. That's what I tried with my daughter, was sabikis off the wharf. But like I say, 30 seconds and she was gone.
See ya.
But definitely if you can expose them to catching some fish, even if they're small fish, that'll give them that sort of, I guess, what dopamine hit, for want of a better term, that you get when you catch and hook a fish. So that's something that the kids will get as well. And then obviously they can get, enthused by it rather than put off by it. Definitely don't take them out on the boat and subject them to like a whole day on the water, because that's going to just, probably ruin it for them.
And you.
Yeah, exactly right. And just small doses, like anything, and be patient and be willing to mix it up. Like it's not just, like I say, about going fishing. Maybe go fishing, take some snacks, maybe go for a little, stop on the beach, have a little bit of a picnic, walk around, go for some swim, bombs off the boat, whatever, just to make it feel like it's a bit more of an event around the day out on the water, rather than just trying to catch fish all the time. And then it also sets them up for a bit more reality around how fishing actually is, where you go fishing and you don't always catch fish, because that's, as most of us know, if you fish enough, you have those days where everything just goes amazingly well, and then you have those days where you just can't almost buy a fish. So, it's just fishing. Yeah.
I was checking out your website, Fishing and Adventure.
fishingandadventure.co.nz.
And you've got a kids club.
Yeah.
It's all about encouraging kids to get off their devices, get out there, have some fun and enjoy nature. What's been part of that club? What do they get?
So basically we got quite a strong kid following with our show, and it's pretty obvious if you go to the boat shows, or you sort of see the feedback that we get. It's a lot of it, the kids really love it and resonate with it. We have parents telling us that their kids just love overtaking Bluey, and Fishing and Adventure is what they watch now, which is quite interesting, and it's a bit funny to hear that, but it's cool, it's awesome, so they're out there and they're obviously into what we do, which means they then want to get out and about. So it's about trying to, I guess, give the parents the opportunities to let their kids sort of do that more, rather than like so many devices. As we all know, like I'm not trying to tell anyone they shouldn't put their kids on devices, but yeah, there is a lot of that. It's very easy. So yeah, we thought we could maybe help the parents out with giving the kids a little bit more of some incentives around doing stuff, out and about. So we've had a few challenges that we've run over the last few years when our show's been running. Our sponsors get involved and sort of do little things from, making, boats out of recycling to going out there and catching a certain amount of species, ticking them off, that sort of stuff. Anything you can think of that might be sort of cool for a kid, we've sort of tried implementing into our kids club. It's a bit of work at the back end for us, like there's a lot of admin in it, but it's pretty rewarding when you used to see these kids sort of engaging with it. And it's pretty cool that they're the future at the end of the day. And everyone wants to see their kids enjoying themselves and having fun. And if you can do it through fishing in the outdoors, I think it's pretty cool. Pretty special. Yeah,
I love that. And parents are needing, we kind of need a community of us who are out there helping. What else can we get our kids involved in that kind of gives them a different dopamine hit than a screen does?
Absolutely.
And so, that's really great work. There is magic in parenting, as you know, and there's mess, and both of them we endure, and some of it we love and some of it we struggle with. But for you, Scott, what is the magic at the moment in your parenting, and maybe what is the mess?
Well, I think starting with the mess is that currently with the 2.5-year-old, they're not really making up their mind with what she wants to do. Every 5 seconds it's something else and it's something else. So you're constantly just on the move. Like you just sit down to do something, like it might be jute play and say, I want to go hide and seek. And then it's like, I want to do some cooking. She's got a little pretend cooking set, and then it's cooking. I want to go do this. And you're literally just running all around all over the place. You can't really settle down and relax. But I mean, fortunately, like I said before, planned that was going to be part of being a parent, is having to put in the work. So you just sort of got to get up and get on with it. Even though you might be a bit tired after a sort of long day, you're like, okay, I'll get up, we'll do that. We'll move from that room to that room, leaving a bit of a trail behind you. So it is quite messy, but then in that there is obviously the magic in just seeing her succeed in doing something that she might not have done before. Just seeing her develop, like over the course of a couple of days, all of a sudden she's building things with the Duplo that she wasn't able to do before. And you just get to see that almost like that immediate sort of reward for her, and just happiness and the energy that she brings. Obviously, that's for me, that's just the magic. And the fact that she's a daddy's girl too, that means that I'm kind of the one that's always sort of getting dragged around all over the place. Whereas mum, she's definitely doesn't get a free ride, but she's obviously ends up doing the other stuff. Like maybe Lizzie ends up doing the cleaning and the cooking, which I'm not mad about. I get to play with my daughter. It's cool because I also have to go away for work a bit. So the more time I can have with her, I think the better. And that's just that connecting time that you get, and the bond forms, and it gets better and better. And you sort of almost, she's only 2.5 years old. She's like your best mate. It's just you get to hang out with your best friend. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Really special.
Yeah.
Is there anything in parenting that maybe before you had kids, you're like, when I have kids, I'm not doing that. When I'm a dad, I'm not doing that you find yourself doing now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I thought, no sugar. I'm like, no, I'm not giving my kids any sugar. I don't know, for whatever reason. I still try and be a little bit strict on it, whereas my partner's a bit more lenient. You have to just give in sometimes, pick your battles. And sometimes there's sugar in so many things that you just have to be, okay, you can have that. Well, you can have that tomato sauce got sugar in it. I'm not going to stop that. And, because at the end of the day, you need your kid to eat and be sustained, and you need to be able to sort of get through the day yourself. So it's not like I'm giving her bags of lollies, but every now and again, like Dad will give in and I'll give her an ice cream. And I think, like you see the smile on the face and the joy that brings them.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to sort of say no to that. Yeah.
I used to have tomato sauce sandwiches. I turned out all right.
Yeah, exactly. We grew up with all sorts, We grew up with the remember that sort of Thrifty, that juice used to have, that was like the concentrate stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff's basically just like toxic. It's just so bad.
Even luncheon, it looks like
luncheon
dog
sausage.
food, and you'd slice a bit with tomato sauce and you say,
No, we all turned out okay, I think.
With parenting, is there any particular advice? You've got a friend who's about to have a kid that you go, hey, one thing to think about.
Yeah, it's, no two kids are the same, right? But I think there are some similar things that kids will do, and they'll test your patience. They'll try and take the piss out of you, for want of a better term. They'll see that there's an opportunity and they'll go for it, whether they know they're doing it consciously or whether it's just something they've learned subconsciously. But I think it's about just picking your battles, but understanding that they are kids at the end of the day. Like, I'm not going to try and tell anyone the parenting style is wrong, but I think you can see people really trying to discipline their kids in something that's just not really worth it. Just kind of let them be kids. And if that means making a mess, or if that means, like I say, eating a little bit of sugar sometimes, I think that's probably something, I'll probably pass on. And then just if you can, the other thing to that will be is if you can get your kid to sleep, I think that's a big one. I think that's obviously a hard one for a lot of parents, but we're real lucky with our daughter. She was quite a good sleeper, and we sort of were quite strict with sort of trying not to give in to getting up in the night too much, or letting her sort of dictate terms in that space. So we're quite fortunate, and that really sets you up for the next day. Then you can function properly, and you can be a better parent, better person, better work colleague, whatever it might be, I think if you can get sleep, the kid can sleep well and you can sleep well, then that obviously goes a long way to setting yourself up for a good day/week.
Yeah. And
So
now that
true.
she's a good sleeper, when you have the twins,
Yeah, fingers crossed.
you'll be able to,
Oh man,
all
yeah.
hands on deck.
Yeah, exactly right. That would be nice. If they're as good as her, then I'll be pretty happy. But yeah, something tells me we're going to have a little bit more of more work on our hands in that department.
I woke up between my 2 kids this morning,
Oh, yeah.
so that's how I normally
Yeah.
wake up. So if you're
Yeah.
listening, you're like, I don't have that sleeper.
Yeah.
I've just sort of embraced it
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
I'm like, come
Yeah.
on. My boy's like, can't we do my lifestyles,
Yeah.
all together? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I get it. He's like, you've got Dad. Why can't I come and be with you guys?
Yeah.
I'm like, you make a great argument.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we bring her to bed with us at like sort of 6 a.m. just for sort of 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and that's nice. I can see why people want to do it. It's awesome. And then she's just super chill at that time as well. It's just nice to have that sort of that bonding time.
Yeah.
And people do it that way, and then they love it, and that works really well for them. But yeah, like I say, like for me, having a good night's sleep is super important
Yeah,
for being able
absolutely.
to function. Yeah.
One of the questions we ask in coaching, Scott, is what parents are really dreaming for their kids. What do they hope for when their children are about to leave home? So it could be 18, it could be 30, or they could leave and then they come back again. But what would you hope with your girls when they are ready to leave home, go flatting or overseas or whatever adventure it is? What would you hope that they take from their family and take with them in terms of values, and what's your dream, basically?
Yeah, I think there's quite a bit in that. I mean, we grew up pretty fortunate. Mum and Dad were both super encouraging of us, letting us be who we want to be. Like, they were both quite good. They were teachers, so they were quite patient. And I think they've passed on all of that to me too. And it's about being patient with your kid. But I think about the values thing is about like always stand up for yourself, be bold in that space. Don't let people walk all over you, but be super respectful of other people and their situations, and just be kind and caring. I think for me, that's what, when you go through life, you go through different phases of life, and no matter what lens you put on it, I think if you're kind to other people and you respect other people, there's not much more you can really do. And I think if they're doing that, then I think the rest of it will hopefully follow. Yeah, so yeah, be bold and be kind. Yeah, I think those are the messages I'd like them to sort of take out into the world, and hopefully pass that on to other people as well.
I think we'd want that for all our kids.
Absolutely.
Be kind
Yeah.
and be bold.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's good. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out today.
No, awesome.
I was going to ask your favourite fishing spots, but I don't know if you want to give those away. I respect that.
Yeah, maybe not live. Maybe after we just switch off the mics.
Sounds good. All right. Scott has so painted like the ultimate Kiwi upbringing in my eyes. This idea of being at the beach, being with the cousins, being in the water till it's dark and your parents are calling you in, and fishing and going on bushwalks and complaining and not wanting to be there, but then thinking it was the best day ever. It kind of gave me this real gratefulness, that we live where we do, and a reminder that I think we all need of this country is full of magic, and there's so many wonderful places to explore. He talked about how they didn't do overseas trips, but that they just would spend it here with the family, exploring and having adventure. And I just think that's something really to embrace.
I think it really rekindled that for me too. That sometimes in our backyard, whether it's climbing a tree or we're going for a walk in a park, or we actually are taking our kids out for a bike ride, and that we actually need to push through the resistance a little bit, because our kids will resist things, especially if it means they've got to stop doing something that they're enjoying to come out and get in the car and go for a bit of a drive to get to where the walk is. But it's worth it. And if we can just hold on to that and know that, we're going to have to shrug off the resistance and the moaning and the complaining about it, because it's sowing those seeds of kids being together and having a good time, and you not even having to sort of monitor too much because they're on a track and they're walking, and apart from a few safety things, it's just good old-fashioned family, cousin-y fun times that are worth keeping in our families.
Yeah, I love it. Bring on the bushwalks this weekend, Luca and Darcy. It's coming. We're going to push through that. I don't want to go. Can we stay home and watch a family movie? I also love the big dream. There was 2 words. I mean, he talked about, having kids that really respected other people and respected themselves. But this idea of be bold, be kind. It actually made me think about something that we've talked about, Jenny, about, in our family we are. And I thought, what a beautiful thing to have on your fridge, or something that you talk about as a family quite often around the table. Hey, in our family, we are kind. In our family, we are bold. And when you talk about it a lot, when it's almost like your family motto, it's your mission statement, you become bold, you become kind because you're focused on it.
Yeah, and you unpack words that your children might not even understand. Like little 2-year-olds don't necessarily know what bold is, but you start talking about bold is when you're in a group and you don't know anybody, and maybe you go up and say, hi, my name's Sally. What's your name? And that's been bold. So you've got something that's on your fridge that's your family value, and you're able to weave it into everyday situations, and your children are inspired by something that's a little bit different to correcting them, disciplining them, all the transitions and the hard stuff. Having something that's up there for them to focus on, being bold, being kind, or might be being respectful. They need to have that word unpacked. It might be that you want your family to be really generous or curious, thoughtful, whatever it is. I think it's a great place to start. And I love the way Scott kind of landed on bold and respectful. So that's for a 2-year-old, that's a really good place to start. And I think let's keep it simple as well.
And I'm excited about doing more fishing. I was a bit unsure. I mean, I eat fish, but I don't like killing them myself. But, I just think that patience, of being together, being patient. And I love too that story you shared of your dad. I think, so many years later, and your dad's not here anymore, but you have this treasure, you hold this memory of his kindness, of his patience. What do you want your kids to remember? What holidays, what words that represented your family? What moments of sitting and fishing and hanging out and connecting?
It's good.
Parents We've Met is brought to you by Parenting Place, a charity that is all about supporting whānau across Aotearoa, helping parents feel really confident in their parenting so that children can feel deeply loved. To find out more, head along to parentingplace.nz. Hey guys, with Black Friday sales happening all over the place, we are jumping on the bandwagon too and offering you 40% off our Untangling Anxiety course. Just head to parentingplace.nz/anxiety and enter the code LIMITED40. That's LIMITED40, a special offer for our podcast community.
Rover. Music, radio, podcasts.